What's up, everybody? You are watching the J-Red Show on YouTube and TikTok. Some of you on YouTube, some of you on TikTok. The Buffalo Sabres season has come to an end. They suffered a heartbreaking loss in Game 7, a 3-2 overtime loss to the Montreal Canadiens. Alex Newhook with the game winner to send Montreal to Carolina and to send the Sabres home. It's a feeling that Buffalo sports fans are all too familiar with. It's the second time it's happened this year, as both the Bills and the Sabres have their seasons end in overtime in heartbreaking fashion. But for the Sabres, this was a successful season. I am proud of them. Their first playoff appearance in 15 years, their first division title in 16, and their first playoff series win in 19 years. So Sabres fans have waited a long time for this season, and they gave us a season that we will never forget. I miss being at those watch parties and just to finally be back at them. Be at Canal Side just watching the Sabres and just feeling that playoff atmosphere that's been gone for so long. And there is little to no reason to think that it won't continue. That the Sabres will make up for the playoff drought with a playoff streak, just like what the Bills have done. Because they have a lot of young, great talent. Owen Power, during this playoff run, he has shut up a lot of his haters. I've heard a lot of the message boards, a lot of fans saying, "Oh, I was wrong about Owen Power. He's really impressed me." Other players that stepped up: Hellenius, Quinn, Benson, Doan. These players should get Sabres fans excited for the future. It's a good thing they stepped up because a lot of Sabres veterans like Alex Tuch disappointed. Well, Tuch was pretty good during the Boston series, but he disappointed during the Montreal series. And I think they should let Tuch walk. I can understand why fans want him to stay, and yes, I mean, don't release him for nothing. Don't just rely on kids. You need a good return like Rob Thomas. But if you can get him like a cheap deal, then it'll do. But I don't mind letting Tuch. After what I saw from the young kids, I would not bother me if they let Tuch walk or they trade him for something like Rob Thomas. Sabres fans, even though it's really sad to see this season end, and now we gotta wait till September for both the Bills and the Sabres to be back in action. It was an exciting season, and there was a lot of reason for me excited for the future. We finally have an experienced general manager. Looks like Lindy Ruff is gonna stay, but there's two things that need to be improved. One, the goaltending. That was just a real soft goal that Ukko-Pekka allowed in to end the season. Alex Lyon allowing 3 goals on 3 shots in Game 6. They're just not good enough. They're fine, competent journeyman goalies. Maybe they'd be fine as a backup. But they really need that number 1 starter to lead their team. The next Ryan Miller. The next Dominic Hasek. I mean, hopefully that'll be Devin Levi. But Jarmo might want to look into free agency. And the other thing they need is an improved power play. It got a little bit better as the playoffs went along, but it was still underwhelming. And I did predict that the power play was going to be the team's undoing, and it was. They had a power play late in Game 7 that could have put Montreal away, and they failed to score. That is the number 1 priority Jarmo Kekalainen needs to work on. They need to fire Seth Appert and the assistants and get some guys with experience who know how to run a functioning power play. If they could do that, then the Sabres will be a legit Stanley Cup contender. WGR 550 has been asking all for a while, are you in having fun mode, or are you going cup crazy? I was kind of leaning towards cup crazy, and I was probably thinking, maybe. I guess anything can happen. But ultimately, I was in having fun mode, and I was not too concerned about the cup. Because I'm like, yeah, the power play needs to be better. The goaltending needs to be better. Tuch needs to be better. I said to them, if we beat Montreal, they need to prove that they would have needed to prove it against Carolina. Now Montreal has faced Carolina. And again, anything can happen. But the Carolina Hurricanes are undefeated in these playoffs, and they got a week-long break. Good luck, Montreal. Now, I know some fans convinced me, the Sabres could have beaten them. I guess. I mean, anything could happen, but I would not have liked the chances. So I'm still kind of in that feeling, just how like when the Bills got blown out against Kansas City in the 2020 AFC Championship. I was like, okay, this is a good season. The franchise is relevant again. But starting next year, it's going to be Stanley Cup or bust. Because we saw with the Bills. They broke the droughts, and then Bills fans were happy with them. But then 2021 came, 13 seconds heartbreak, and then it became championship or bust. And then a lot of fans wanted Sean McDermott fired, and now a lot of fans want Brandon Beane fired. So the clock is going to be ticking on Lindy Ruff and Jarmo Kekalainen to get the Sabres over the finish line. I mean, who knows if the Sabres will, or the Bills, who knows if the Sabres will ever win the Stanley Cup, or the Bills will ever win the Super Bowl. But this is the best chance both teams have had since the 90s. And then the Sabres in the mid-2000s with Briere and Drury. With this young talent, Darling, Power, Doan, Benson, Thompson, Hellenius, Quinn, they have a golden opportunity to finally bring a championship to Buffalo. And the Bills have a golden opportunity with Josh Allen and James Cook. And hopefully that defense will be better under Jim Leonard. So it's going to be a long and tedious wait for an exciting September for Buffalo sports. And yeah, the next time I'm on here, I'm going to try to find some other sports topics to talk about. I'll be doing a movies and TV shows podcast next. But I want to thank you all for watching on YouTube and TikTok. It's been a fun Sabre season. And I'm hoping next year is going to be the year where both the Bills win the Super Bowl and the Sabres win the Stanley Cup. Will it happen? Who knows? Will Pegula, Bean, and Jarmo Kekalainen make the right decisions? Will they get lucky? I know Buffalo's had the worst luck, but curses are meant to be broken. Boston Red Sox in 2004. Cleveland and Cavaliers in 2016. Chicago Cubs in 2016. I trust me, folks, sooner or later, the Bills will win the Super Bowl and the Sabres will win the Stanley Cup. Do you agree with me? What are your thoughts? Hit me on Twitter at JRadShow, and I will see you later.